Okay, so now that we've done the creating a MYBLOCK, we're going to do another one here that is going to be creating a MYBLOCK for the driving for millimeters block. So we're going to go pretty quickly through this. This is going to be basically the same procedure that we did for the turning 4 degrees blocks. We highlight our code, select the MYBLOCK builder. We're going to put a name on our block. We're going to call it drive 4 millimeters. We're going to give it a symbol that looks like the steering, two-wheel steering block. Call it drive for millimeters, and the drive for command in millimeters. In the description field, we're going to add 2 parameters to it, and then we're going to configure what those parameters are. So we're going to go to parameter setup for the first one. We're going to call it speed. Give it this slider here, make it go -100 to 100, and we're going to give it the speed icon. Just pick an icon here. Give it the icon so we can tell kind of what it is. And then this other parameter here, we're going to make this the distance icon. So there's a couple of good ones here for that. We'll use the one that's just kind of the generic, not centimeters, not inches, but just that generic measurement there. And we're going to call that millimeters. And we'll just use that input there to key in an actual value, because that can really be anything. And then we're going to be finished here. So that's going to create our 2 inputs there. We're going to draw our wires. So the speed goes there. The actual distance goes into the math block there. And now you see down at the bottom here, we have a drive for millimeters blocks. We now have 2 blocks. These are going to be kind of the 2 fundamental blocks we're going to use to do a lot of different stuff with. So let's actually make a program here. So what we're going to try to do is use these 2 blocks to drive in a rectangle. So that should be pretty easy to do now that we have these. So a rectangle is basically going to be drive for a certain number of millimeters, then make a 90-degree turn. Just copy and paste these. Drive for a certain number of millimeters, make a 90-degree turn. Once again, drive for millimeters, make a 90-degree turn. You can see how using these blocks is a lot easier than keying in all that code that we had that formed these. And then basically what we need to do is put in the values we want to move here. So for our speeds, we're going to do everything at 20. I like to move at 20. I think it's a nice slow speed for displaying things. In an FLL competition, you probably want to go faster in that. But we're just going to use 20 for everything we're doing here. So 20 is all across the board. And then, so our first motion here, we're going to say, let's drive 100 millimeters. Then we're going to go -90 means left 90 degrees. Then we're going to go forward 50, another left 90, forward 100, left 90, and then forward 50. So that should be basically driving a complete rectangle, ended up back where we started. So just using those blocks. So what we're going to do, we will try to download and run this program. And hopefully we should get a rectangular motion. And here we go. Let's see it go, and it went kind of crazy. Now, I'm kind of glad that happened, because we actually have a problem with our program here, because you can see if I double click on the drive for millimeters block, this was copied from the drive for degrees block, and this still has that sharp right turn in there. So we need to make that straight. So you can, this kind of shows that you can go back and edit these blocks afterwards. So I just open up that block, make a change to it, and that should change that across the board. So that makes it go now straight instead of a turn in that block. So that was an error when I created that. So now, making that fix, let's see if this drives in a rectangle now. So we'll download and run. So forward 100, left, then 50, then left, then 100, and then left, then 50. So that is basically using those blocks there to drive in a complete rectangle. And we should be able to use those two blocks to basically complete most of the missions on our FLL game mat, just by driving by known distances and turning by known angles.